Jesse, I absolutely love your Medal of Honor Mondays. Try to listen to them whenever my schedule permits. I just finished a book about Chosin Reservoir and was amazed by the actions of Medal of Honor recipient Hector A. Cafferata Jr., and would love to hear you relate his story to your audience. We've actually done this one once before, and as is usually the case with these things, his citation is grossly inadequate compared to what he did, and his citation is amazing. So I'm going to start with the citation, then I'll add some more detail to it because they actually underserved the man, and I'll explain why that happened. Anyway, he was born in New York City in 1929, United States Marine Corps, and this is what he did.
Ready, aim, fire.
Honoring those who went above and beyond. It's Medal of Honor Monday.
For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, while serving as a rifleman with Company F in action against enemy aggressor forces, when all other members of his fire team became casualties, creating a gap in the lines during the initial phase of a vicious attack launched by a fanatical enemy of regimental strength against his company's hill position, Private Cafferata waged a lone battle with grenades and rifle fire as the attack gained momentum and the enemy threatened penetration through the gap and endangered the integrity of the entire defensive perimeter. Making a target of himself under devastating fire from automatic weapons, rifles, grenades, and mortars, he moved up and down the line and delivered accurate and effective fire against the onrushing force, killing 15, wounding many more, and forcing others to withdraw so that reinforcements could move up and consolidate the position. Again, fighting desperately against a renewed onslaught later that same morning when a hostile grenade landed in a shallow entrenchment occupied by wounded Marines. Private Cafferata rushed into the gully under heavy fire, seized the deadly missile in his right hand, and hurled it free of his comrades before it detonated, severing part of one finger and seriously wounding him in the right hand and arm. Courageously ignoring the intense pain, he staunchly fought on until he was struck by a sniper's bullet and forced to submit to evacuation for medical treatment. Stout-hearted and indomitable, Private Cafferata, by his fortitude, great personal valor, and dauntless perseverance in the face of almost certain death, saved the lives of several of his fellow Marines and contributed essentially to the success achieved by his company in maintaining the defensive position against tremendous odds. His extraordinary heroism throughout was in keeping with the highest traditions of U.S. naval service. Now for the rest of the story, or at least a bit of it. First of all, he was an athlete, world-class football player. I believe, if memory serves me, he went semi-pro football player, big dude. In fact, his nickname was Big Heck. That was his nickname, Big Heck, football player. Joins the Marine Corps. Is kind of a problem child in the Marine Corps. He's kind of a problem child, and those oftentimes are the guys who earn these incredible medals. So he's got a buddy with him this night. His comrade in arms is a guy, Kenneth Benson is his name, Private Kenneth Benson. They are in their sleeping bags. Remember, it is frigid cold. Now, this took place at a place called Tok Tong Pass. I don't expect that to mean anything to you. It doesn't matter. Here's what you have to know. Our troops were cut off at Chosin Reservoir, or I should say almost cut off. If we lost control of Tok Tong Pass, our troops would be completely cut off, and we may have seen the annihilation of 30,000 troops. That's how severe the situation was. Big Heck's company was essentially overlooking that pass. The Chinese troops knew they had to take his position. What's in his position? About 200 Marines, roughly. How many did the Chinese send? Different estimates depending on what you read. 12 to 1,400 Chinese troops attack them because they had to have the pass. Now, you know how I told you these guys were in their sleeping bags? Kenneth Benson, his buddy, had a grenade, essentially, I believe it was a grenade if memory serves me, explode, and it blinded him. He no longer had the use of his eyes at the beginning of this. But this little warrior, who should have possibly earned the medal himself, did not quit, did not give up. He spent the rest of the night refilling magazines and handing magazines to Big Heck, who spent his time shooting them, and his blind buddy is blindly handing him magazines. The Chinese are chucking so many grenades up at Big Heck during all this, he actually pulls out his little mini shovel and starts swatting them back at the Chinese like baseballs when they're chucking them at him. I'm telling you, man, they could make an entire movie out of this one part of Chosen Reservoir, and it would win all kinds of awards, except they'd gay the whole thing up and ruin it all. But it is an insane story. Oh, in one tiny little bit that may be the biggest bit of it. You know how I told you they were in their sleeping bags? They didn't have time to put on their shoes. It's 10 to 20 below zero at least, and they are standing in knee-deep snow, and Big Heck is taking on waves of Chinese in his bare freaking feet for hours at a time. Hours at a time. So many Marines died in his company. You know, I told you it was about 200. You know how many were left by morning? About 80. They're just dying in droves, and Heck is just murdering the Chinese as fast as they can come at him. You know, they said he killed 15. There are estimates from multiple people that he killed 100 of them. They did not report that number because they thought it would not be believed. Now, who knows what the exact number is, but it was not 15. It was a lot. He was in his bare feet. By the time he got back, they didn't know if he was going to keep either of his feet, and they did not know if he was going to live. They shipped him back to America. His feet were like black. They shipped him back to America. He had to undergo treatment for a year and a half before he was upright. Kept his feet, kept his patriotism. I think he worked for the Forest Service, if I remember right, was always a hardcore patriot. And by the way, a super humble dude. When they told him he'd earned the Medal of Honor, he asked them to mail it to him. Could you just put that in the mail? And they said, no, you actually need to come to Washington, D.C. and accept it. Lived until 2016, died in the state of Florida, is buried, I believe, don't quote me on this, I haven't read his stuff in a while. I think he's buried at Quantico, Virginia, Marine Corps base, Quantico, Virginia. Big Heck, man. I'm telling you, a lion who saved a lot of lives and did not kill 15. Not 15. That's an appetizer for Big Heck.